The north is cold and full of whispers.
Month 4. The Dragonstone negotiation. The war room at Winterfell was cold even with the fire blazing. Maps covered the table. The north, the wall, Westeros entire. Jon stood beside father, studying the coastline of Dragonstone. Davos Seaworth. Father's finger tapped the map. Robert's smuggler, Stannis, knighted him after the siege of Storm's End. Cut off his fingertips for the crime. Gave him lands for the service. He's loyal to Stannis, Jon said. Completely. And he's the best smuggler in the Seven Kingdom. Can we trust him? With this? Yes. He's honest. Blunt. He'll tell Stannis exactly what we're asking and why. Benjen leaned over the map. You're asking for mining rights to volcanic glass no one values. In exchange for what? Northern recognition of Stannis's claim? Recognition. Non-aggression. Intelligence on Lannister movements from our sources. Jon traced the shipping route. And eventual military support when the real war begins. The dead, Robb said. He still said it carefully, like he was testing the word, testing whether he believed it. The dead. Jon met his brother's eyes. Stannis won't believe that. Not yet. But he'll believe in duty, in law, in his right to the throne. We offer him northern legitimacy. That matters. Father was quiet, thinking. Finally, if we formally recognize Stannis, we're picking a side in the Southern War. The Lannisters will mark us as enemies. They already have, Jon said. You refused Robert? Cersei won't forget that. If the Lannisters win, then we're still here, still north. Still defended by Moat Cailin and Winter. They can't touch us, not really. Address it to Stannis Baratheon, rightful king of the Seven Kingdoms. Make the offer clear, mining rights for dragonglass. Our recognition, our intelligence in exchange for his, what? Permission? And his eventual understanding that the true war isn't for the Iron Throne. The Raven flew south 10 days later. Jon watched it disappear into gray sky, carrying words that might change everything or nothing. He found Arya in the yard, drilling with Syrio Forel. The Braavosi water dancer father had hired moved like wind, his wooden sword a blur. Arya matched him. Or tried to. She was quick. Getting quicker. Again, Syrio said. The boy is not looking. The boy is thinking. What is the seeing telling you? That you're about to strike left. Arya blocked. Too slow. Syrio's sword tapped her ribs. The seeing is good. The doing is slow. Why slow? I'm trying. Trying is thinking. Doing is doing. Again. Jon watched 3 more exchanges. Arya was improving. Fast. In the original timeline, she'd trained with Syrio in King's Landing until the coup. Here, she'd been training for months already. No interruptions, no trauma, just learning. She'll be better than she was. Faster. Stronger. When the time comes, Jon. Arya had spotted him. Did you see? I almost had him that time. Almost is not having, Syrio said. But he smiled. The girl is learning. Fast feet, fast hands. Good seeing. Tomorrow we practice the fighting blind. No eyes, only ears and feeling. He bowed, elaborate, formal, and left them. Arya flopped onto a bench. He's impossible. I hit him once yesterday, and he made me do it 100 more times to prove it wasn't luck. That's good teaching. It's exhausting teaching. She drank from a water skin. Sansa says I'm wasting my time, that no one will let a girl fight in a real battle, that I should be learning to sew and sing. Sansa's learning her own skills. Politics, courtesy, reading people. Those matter too. Do they matter when the dead come? Jon sat beside her. Yes, because we'll need someone who can negotiate, who can talk to Southern lords, who can hold Winterfell together if Father and Robb are at the wall. Sansa can do that. You're learning to do something else. Kill things. Protect people. There's a difference. Arya was quiet. Then, in your dreams, the ones you told Father about, the future that didn't happen, was I any good at fighting? Jon remembered Arya killing the Night King, driving the cat's paw dagger through his chest, saving everyone. You were the best. Her eyes went wide. How? I'll tell you someday, when you're ready, when it's closer. That's not fair. Life's not fair, but you get to train anyway. Keep working with Syrio. Keep learning. When the time comes, you'll be ready. The reply from Dragonstone arrived 3 weeks later. The raven carried a single word on the scroll. Come. That's it? Robb stared at the message. Just come? No agreement? No terms? It means he's listening, Jon said. Stannis doesn't waste words. If he says come, he wants to negotiate face to face. Then we send someone. Father looked at Benjen. Your first ranger. You can speak for the North. I need to go. Everyone turned to him. You're 14, Catelyn said. She'd been silent in most of these councils, still angry about Father's refusal of Robert. You can't negotiate with a king. I'm the only one who knows what's really at stake. The only one who's fought the White Walkers. The only one who can explain why we need the dragonglass. Jon looked at Father. Stannis won't believe someone explaining it secondhand. He needs to hear it from someone who's lived it. You'll tell him you've traveled through time? Benjen asked, skeptical. I'll tell him I've seen things. Had visions. Dreams. Whatever he'll accept. But I need to be the one talking. Father considered. Long silence. Finally, you'll take guards. A ship from White Harbor. And if Stannis refuses, if he tries to hold you hostage, he won't. That's not his way. He's rigid about honor, about rules. He'll hear me out. Then you have my permission. But Jon, be careful. Stannis is Robert's brother. He might blame us for Robert's death, for not supporting his claim when Robert was still alive. I'll be careful. The ship from White Harbor was a trading cog called Winter's Bite, 40 feet of oak and sail. Captain was a grizzled man named Heron who'd sailed these waters for 30 years. Dragonstone's a hard approach, Heron said as they prepared to leave. Rocky, treacherous currents. And that's assuming Stannis lets us land. His fleet's been blockading the island, turning away anyone who's not sworn to him. We have a letter of safe passage. Letters don't stop scorpion bolts. Jon boarded with 4 guards. Northern men loyal to House Stark. Ghost came too. The direwolf settled in the bow. White fur stark against dark wood. The journey took a week. Down the White Knife to the Bite. South along the eastern coast. Past the Vale. Past the Riverlands. Into Blackwater Bay. Jon spent the time preparing, rehearsing arguments, trying to predict Stannis' objections. He's pure iron, black and hard and strong, but brittle. He responds to duty, justice, evidence, never emotional appeals. The throne is his by law. That's all that matters to him. On the 6th day, Dragonstone appeared. The island was volcanic. Black stone and smoking mountain. The castle perched on the highest point. Gargoyles and dragon-shaped towers. Valyrian architecture built to intimidate. A warship approached before they reached the harbor. Painted oars, a crowned stag on the sail. Identify yourselves, a voice across the water. Winter's Bite out of White Harbor, carrying Jon Snow with a message for King Stannis. Jon Snow, Eddard Stark's son. We have safe passage. Long pause. Then, follow us. Any deviation, and we sink you. They followed the warship into the harbor. The docks were crowded with military vessels. Easily 50 warships. Stannis' fleet, built to take King's Landing. Guards waited on the dock, wearing the crowned stag. Grim-faced men who searched the northern guards for weapons. The wolf stays on the ship, the captain said. No. Jon's voice was flat. Ghost comes with me or I don't come at all. King's orders. Tell your king I'm here to offer him something he needs. And I'm not leaving Ghost behind. The captain hesitated, then sent a runner up to the castle. 20 minutes later, the king says the wolf can come, but it attacks anyone. We kill it and you. Understood. They climbed the hill to the castle. The path was steep. Carved into volcanic stone, gargoyles leered from every surface, dragons and demons and creatures Jon didn't recognize. This place was built to be frightening, to remind visitors that House Targaryen ruled with fire and blood. Now Stannis holds it. A Baratheon in a dragon's nest. The throne room was oppressive. High ceiling, dragon skulls mounted on the walls, smaller ones, not the massive skulls from King's Landing. Torches cast flickering shadows. And on the throne, Stannis Baratheon. He looked exactly like Jon remembered from the futures that hadn't happened. Tall, thin, hard face with a beard trimmed sharp. Jaw clenched perpetually. Eyes that missed nothing. Beside him stood a red woman. Melisandre, red robes, red hair, red everything. Her eyes found Jon and widened slightly. She sees something, senses something. The Lord of Light showing her, what? That I've died and come back? That I'm not what I appear? Jon Snow. Stannis' voice was harsh, grinding. Eddard Stark's bastard. You asked for this audience. Speak. Jon stepped forward, Ghost at his side. Your Grace, I come with an offer from the North that refused to acknowledge my claim, that isolated itself while the realm fractures. That North? Yes. Why should I listen? Because I'm offering you what you need most. Legitimacy, recognition from the oldest kingdom in Westeros, and something else, something you don't know you need yet. Explain. The North acknowledges you as Robert's rightful heir. The Iron Throne is yours by law. Joffrey is illegitimate. A bastard of incest between Cersei and Jaime Lannister. We support your claim. You're the first to say so publicly. Because we're the first to see clearly. The Lannisters are usurpers. You are the king. We recognize that. In exchange for mining rights on this island, specifically the dragonglass deposits beneath the Dragonmont. Silence. Stannis stared at him. Dragonglass. Worthless volcanic glass. That's what you want. Yes. Why? Because it kills White Walkers. More silence. Longer. Stannis' expression didn't change, but something flickered in his eyes. Skepticism. Anger at being mocked. The White Walkers have been extinct for 8,000 years. They're not extinct. They're returning. And in 2 years, maybe 3, they'll attack the wall. And if we're not prepared, if we don't have weapons that can kill them, everyone north of the neck dies. Then everyone south of it. You expect me to believe. I expect you to consider evidence. Jon kept his voice level. Your Grace, I've seen them, fought them. I know what's coming. And I know dragonglass kills them. Valyrian steel kills them. Nothing else works. So I'm asking, let us mine your dragonglass. Let us prepare, and when the time comes, when the dead march, we'll have weapons. We'll have a chance. This is madness. It's truth, Your Grace. You believe in duty, in protecting the realm. That's what this is. The realm needs dragonglass. I'm offering northern recognition of your kingship in exchange for access to it. That's a fair trade. Melisandre spoke. Her voice was smoke and honey. The boy speaks truth, Your Grace. I have seen it in the flames. Darkness coming. An enemy older than the 7 kingdoms. The great other marshalling his forces. You've said nothing of White Walkers before, because I didn't understand what I was seeing. But now, she looked at Jon. Now I see clearly. This boy carries the mark of death and rebirth. The Lord of Light has touched him, returned him. For what purpose? To fight the darkness, to stand against the night. Jon's chest tightened. She knows. She sees it somehow. That I've died and come back. You speak in riddles, woman, Stannis said. I speak truth. The long night is coming. The boy knows this. We must prepare. Stannis was quiet, thinking. His jaw worked. If I grant this, if I allow you to mine dragonglass from my island, what guarantee do I have of northern support? A written oath. Northern forces will support your claim when the time comes. Not immediately. We need to prepare for the true threat first. But when you move against the Lannisters, the North will stand with you. When will that be? After the White Walkers are dealt with, after the dead are defeated. Then we'll help you take what's yours, by right. But you'll have northern legitimacy now. That matters. Other houses will follow. And you'll have allies when it counts. Stannis stood, paced. 3 steps one direction, 3 steps back, silent. Finally, you may mine the dragonglass. Take as much as you need. I want a written oath from Eddard Stark, swearing northern support. And when the time comes, when I call, the North will answer. Agreed. If you're lying, if this is some scheme, I will remember. And I will come north with fire and blood and justice. Do you understand? I understand. And Your Grace, I'm not lying. Everything I've told you is true. When the dead come, you'll see. And you'll remember this conversation. Jon left the throne room. His hands were shaking. Ghost pressed against his leg. One of Stannis' advisors, a thin man with a salt and pepper beard, approached in the corridor. Davos Seaworth. The man extended his hand. Stannis' Onion Knight. Saw you arguing with the king. Not many have the stones for that. I wasn't arguing. I was negotiating. Same thing with Stannis. Davos smiled. It transformed his face, made him seem warmer, approachable. You really believe what you said? About the White Walkers? I know, it's true. Either way, you got what you came for. Dragonglass mining rights. That's something. Will you help coordinate it? The mining? The shipments north? If the king orders it, I'll make sure you get what you need. How much you planning to take? As much as we can. Thousands of arrowheads, spear tips, daggers. Enough to arm 10,000 men, Davos whistled. That's a mountain of glass. You'll need skilled craftsmen. Men who know how to knack obsidian. We'll find them, train them, whatever it takes. You're serious about this? Completely. Not because I believe in White Walkers. I don't. But because I believe Stannis needs northern support, and if giving you some worthless rocks earns that, seems a fair trade. Davos's grip was strong, missing fingertips on his right hand from Stannis's punishment. One more thing, Davos said. The Red Woman, Melisandre. She watches you like you're something special, something important. Why? I don't know. Liar. But Davos smiled again. Keep your secrets. Just be careful. She's powerful, dangerous, and she has Stannis's ear more than anyone likes. Jon returned to Winter's Bite 3 hours later. The ship left on the evening tide. As Dragonstone disappeared behind them, Jon felt something loosen in his chest. One step complete, dragonglass secured. Stannis's cooperation earned. Now the hard part begins. Mining, shipping, training craftsmen, preparing weapons. And all of it had to happen fast. Because the Night King was coming. And Jon had bought them time but not nearly enough. Month 5. The Bolton problem. The Raven arrived at dawn. Black wings against gray sky. The message was terse. Roose Bolton has escaped Winterfell. Last seen riding east with 12 men. Dreadfort garrison has closed its gates. Situation contained but volatile. Roderick Cassell. Father read it twice. Handed it to Jon without speaking. When? Jon asked. 3 days ago, he waited until I left for White Harbor. Took advantage of reduced guards. He's been planning this since you stripped his command. I should have executed him. Should have ended the threat completely. You didn't have enough evidence for execution. First night violations are hard to prove without witnesses willing to testify, and Roose is careful. Not careful enough. He ran. They were in Father's solar. Map spread across the desk. The Dreadfort was marked. 50 miles from Winterfell. Walled fortress on the banks of the Weeping Water. Bolton ancestral seat for thousands of years. How many men can he muster? Robb asked. He'd join them. Learning. Watching. At the Dreadfort? Maybe 2,000. His full strength is larger. 10 to 15,000 across his lands. But calling all his banners takes time. Weeks. Maybe months. So we attack now. Before he consolidates. No. Jon's voice was firm. We contain. Watch. Make sure he can't move against us. But we don't attack. Why not? He's a traitor. He hasn't done anything yet. Not technically. He fled house arrest. That's not treason, not rebellion. Just escape. You said he betrayed us in your other timeline. Killed us at a wedding. He did. But that was different circumstances. Different choices. Here, now, he's just scared. Cornered. If we attack, we push him into open rebellion. Force every Bolton bannerman to choose sides. Some will choose him. Then we have civil war in the north right when we need unity. Father nodded slowly. Jon's right. We contain. We watch. We make it clear any move against Winterfell means destruction. But we don't attack first. It's choosing our battles. The Boltons are a problem. The White Walkers are an existential threat. We can't afford to bleed men fighting each other when the real enemy is coming. So what do? We position forces at strategic points, cut off his access to the King's Road, make sure he can't raid south, and we send envoys to his bannermen. Remind them their oaths are to Winterfell. To House Stark, not to a man who fled justice. Father walked to the map, traced roads and rivers. Roderick Cassell's already moved 300 men to the last river. That blocks the southern approach. We'll send another 500 to the Weeping Water. Control the fords. Roose can sit in his castle, but he can't move without us knowing. He'll call his banners, Jon said. Try to gather support. Some will answer. The Risewells, maybe. The Dustons. Families with old ties to House Bolton. Then we offer them better terms. Land, trade agreements, whatever it takes to keep them loyal. Father's jaw was set. Roose Bolton will not fracture the North. Not now. Not when we need to be united. The containment worked. For a while, Roderick Cassell's forces blocked the south. Another garrison at the Weeping Water controlled the river crossings. Rose was effectively besieged in his own castle. But then the ravens started flying. Dozens of them. Black wings carrying messages to Bolton bannermen. To other houses. To anyone Roose thought might support him. One landed at Winterfell. Addressed to Father. Lord Stark, you accuse me of crimes without trial. Strip my command without cause. Imprison me in my own home. These are not the actions of a just lord. These are tyranny. I have done nothing wrong. My departure from Winterfell was forced by your son, a bastard boy claiming visions and knowledge he cannot possess. You take his word over mine. You believe fantasies over evidence. I am returning to my ancestral seat. I am not in rebellion. I simply refuse to be held prisoner for crimes I did not commit. If you wish to accuse me formally, send for a trial. Bring witnesses. Bring evidence. Do it properly. Until then, I remain a loyal bannerman of House Stark. But Lord Stark, keep your forces away from the Dreadfort. Any attack will be seen as aggression, and I will defend my home. Rose Bolton, Lord of the Dreadfort. He's trying to paint himself as the victim. Benjen said, make it look like you're the tyrant. If I attack now, some houses will see it as overreach, especially if Roose hasn't openly rebelled. So he wins? Rob's frustration was obvious. No, he survives. For now. But he's contained. Watched. And every day he sits in the Dreadfort is another day he's not causing problems. What about Ramsay? Jon asked. Roose's bastard. We executed him months ago. That's what really scared Roose. Made him run. Ramsay was a monster. The evidence was overwhelming. No one disputes that execution. But Roose does. In private. To his supporters, he's telling them we killed his son without proper trial. That we're executioners, not judges. Father was quiet. You think he'll use that? Turn it into a rallying point? I think he'll try. But it won't work. Too many people knew what Ramsay was. What he did. The Lady Hornwood atrocity. The hunting of peasant women. The flaying. Roose can claim injustice all he wants. No one will believe him. Unless they want to, Benjen said. Some houses might use this as excuse. Old grudges. Old rivalries. The North has been united for centuries, but unity isn't the same as harmony. Then we remind them what's at stake. Father's voice was steel. Send ravens to every northern house. Call a council. Here at Winterfell, 2 months from now, every lord or their representative attends. We discuss the real threat, the White Walkers, the preparations needed. And we make it clear, anyone who rebels, anyone who fractures the North, is betraying not just House Stark, but the entire realm. Will they come? Rob asked. They'll come. They're Northerners. When winter comes, they remember. And winter is coming. Month 6, the wildling mission. The ranging party left Castle Black at first light. 15 men dressed in black. Climbing gear, weapons, supplies for 2 weeks beyond the wall. Jon led them. Benjen rode beside him, both of them scanning the tree line for threats. You're sure about this? Benjen asked. Mance raiders gathered 90 clans. Maybe 100,000 people they could kill us just for crossing the wall. They won't. I know what to say. What Mance wants to hear. That I know why he's really moving south. That I can offer safe passage without battle. They rode in silence. The wall behind them grew smaller. This was the haunted forest. 700 square miles of pine and oak and shadows. The wildlings called it home. How do we find him? One of the rangers asked. Corin Halfhand, veteran of 100 rangings. The free folk don't exactly announce their location. They leave signs. For each other. So clans can find each other. Jon pointed to a tree. 3 scratches in the bark. Deliberate, that's a marker. Telling others which direction someone traveled. You learned that at the wall? In years I spent beyond the wall with the wildlings. With Mance, with Ygritte. I learned it. They followed the markers. North and west, deeper into the forest. 3 days of riding, camping cold, no fires, too much risk of attracting attention they weren't ready for. On the 4th day, they found the first wildling settlement. It wasn't a village, not permanent, just a gathering, maybe 300 people, tents, crude shelters, cook fires, women and children and men with scars and weapons. They've seen us, Benjen said quietly. I know. Jon dismounted, raised his hands. Empty. Peaceful. I'm here to talk to Mance Rayder. I have a message for the king beyond the wall. Wildlings appeared from the trees. 24 warriors, spears, axes, bows. Surrounding the rangers, a woman stepped forward. Tall, red hair, fierce face. You're crows, Night's Watch. Why shouldn't we kill you? Because I know why Mance is gathering the clans, why he's moving south. And I can help. Help. She laughed, bitter. The Night's Watch doesn't help the free folk. It kills them. Usually. But I'm not usual. Take me to Mance. Let me talk to him. If he wants to kill me after, fine. But let me talk first. The woman studied him. Young face. Too young for this war. You alone. Your men stay here. Try anything, they die. Understand? Understood. She led Jon through the camp. People stared, whispered. A crow walking among them. Enemy. Outsider. Some looked ready to attack. But the woman, her name was Dalla, Jon learned, kept them back. Why are you helping me? Jon asked. I'm not. I'm taking you to Mance so he can decide if you're worth hearing or killing. Big difference. They reached the largest tent, patched canvas, smoke coming from a hole at the top. Voices inside. Dalla pulled the flap back. Mance, got a crow here, says he needs to talk to you. Says he knows why we're moving south. Inside, the tent was crowded. A dozen people, chiefs maybe, leaders. And in the center, Mance Rayder. He looked exactly like Jon remembered. Tall, graying hair, sharp eyes, strong face with laugh lines. A man who smiled easy but fought hard. He was studying a map made of scratches in leather. Looked up when Jon entered. A crow. Mance's voice was calm. Curious. Been a while since one of you came to visit Peaceful. Usually you're shooting at us. Dalla says you know why we're moving south. That's interesting. Most crows think we're just savage raiders who want to steal and kill. What do you think we are? Refugees. Explain, Mance said. The White Walkers are killing your people. Village by village, clan by clan, you've seen it, heard the stories. People vanishing in the night, bodies found frozen. Or worse, not found at all. You know what's happening. And you know you can't stop it. So you're gathering everyone. Every clan, every survivor. You're moving them south. Because the wall is the only defense. The only thing that might keep them safe. Who told you this? No one told me. I've seen it. The army of the dead. The Night King. I've fought them. I know they're real. And I know you're not invading. You're running. Trying to save your people. Long silence. Finally. How old are you, boy? 14. 14. And you're telling me you've fought the others. The White Walkers. The monsters from children's stories. I'm telling you I've seen the future. Lived it. And I'm here to change it. To help you. To help all of us survive. Madness, one of the other chiefs. A big man with a scarred face. The crows touched by the cold. We should kill him. No. Mance held up a hand. Wait. Boy, Jon, was it? Dalla said your name's Jon. You tell me I'm trying to save my people. That we're running from the others. You're right. But how does a crow know that? How does the Night's Watch, the same brotherhood that's killed free folk for generations, know we're not just attacking for sport? Because I know what's coming, and I'm trying to prepare. Your father? Eddard Stark, Lord of Winterfell, Warden of the North. Silence. Longer this time. Mance's eyes narrowed. You're Ned Stark's son? The bastard? Jon Snow? Yes. And you've seen the future? Yes. Prove it. Jon took a breath. You were at Winterfell. 2 months ago. Robert Baratheon's visit. You climbed the wall, bought a horse, infiltrated the feast dressed as a bard. You sat in the back of the hall, played your lute, watched, listened. Then you left before anyone noticed. You were scouting, measuring the Warden of the North, seeing if he was a threat. Mance had gone very still. How do you know that? Because I saw you. I knew who you were, what you were doing, and I didn't tell anyone because I understood why you came. You weren't there to attack. You were there to learn. That's impossible. No one knew. I knew, and I know other things. I know you deserted from the Night's Watch over a red-patched cloak. I know you value freedom above everything. I know you don't want to kneel to any king, southern or northern. I know you united 90 clans by telling them one truth. We're all going to die if we don't get south. That's why they follow you. Not because you're strong. Because you're honest. Mance sat down heavily. Who are you? Really? I told you. Jon Snow. Ned Stark's bastard. But I'm also someone who's lived through the long night. Who's fought the dead. Who's watched them destroy everything. And I'm here to offer you something you need. Safe passage through the wall. Without battle. Without losing half your people. A chance to actually survive. Why would the Night's Watch let us through? Because I'm convincing them. Because my father backs me. Because when the dead come, we need everyone alive. Every wildling who dies is one more white in their army. Every person who crosses the wall alive is one more fighter when it matters. You're asking me to trust the Night's Watch, the same crows who've killed us for 8,000 years. I'm asking you to trust me, one person. Who knows what's coming? Who wants to help? Who's offering you a way to save your people without fighting a war you can't win? Mance was quiet, thinking. His chiefs muttered among themselves, some angry, some skeptical, none convinced. Finally, Mance spoke. I need to think, need to talk to my people. It's not a small thing you're asking. You're asking the free folk to trust the Night's Watch, to walk through a gate that's kept us out for millennia. That's asking a lot. I know. But Mance, the alternative is fighting the wall, losing thousands. And even if you break through, the Night's Watch will hunt you. The North will fight you. And all of that weakens us, for when the real enemy arrives. How long until they come? The others? 2 years, maybe 3. They're gathering, building their army. When they move, it'll be fast. And final, unless we're ready. 2 years. Mance rubbed his face. That's not much time. It's enough. If we work together. I need proof. Real proof. Not just stories about seeing the future. Show me something. Something that proves the others are real. That they're coming. Jon thought fast. What could he show? What evidence existed? Come with me tomorrow. Beyond the wall. North. I'll show you what I've seen. What's coming. And you'll believe. Or you'll lead me into a trap. Kill the king beyond the wall. Scatter the free folk. If I wanted you dead, I'd have brought an army. I brought 15 men. That's not a trap. That's a negotiation. Mance smiled. Slight. Grudging. You've got stones, Jon Snow. I'll give you that. Fine. Tomorrow. You and me. We ride north. You show me proof. And if I'm satisfied, if I believe you, we'll talk about this safe passage. But if you're lying, if this is a trick, I kill you myself. Understood. They rode north at dawn. Just Jon and Mance. The chiefs had argued, protested, but Mance overruled them. If the boy wants to kill me, he'll have chances on the ride, Mance said. And if I'm wrong about him, well, one of you will make a new king beyond the wall. You'll figure it out. Ghost came too. The direwolf padded beside Jon's horse, red eyes watching, alert. That's a direwolf, Mance said. Haven't seen one of those south of the wall in decades. Where'd you get him? He found me, or I found him. We're bonded. Bonded. Like the old stories, the first men and their wolves. Your father's an old blood, isn't he? Descended from the kings of winter. He is. And I'm. Jon stopped. I'm a Stark. Whatever else I am, I'm a Stark. Bastards don't usually claim their houses so boldly. I'm not usual. They rode for hours, deep into the forest. The trees grew thicker, older. This was old forest. Untouched. The kind that existed before men came to Westeros. Where are we going? Mance asked. A place I saw. In my visions. Where the others have been. Where they left evidence. What kind of evidence? You'll see. 2 more hours. The forest grew colder. Jon could feel it. Unnatural cold that had nothing to do with weather. This was wrong cold. Dead cold. You feel that? Jon asked. Aye. Something's off. Like the forest is holding its breath. They reached a clearing, small, maybe 50 feet across, and in the center, bodies, a dozen corpses arranged in a spiral pattern. Wildlings, men and women, all frozen, all preserved perfectly by the unnatural cold. Their eyes were open, blue, glowing slightly even in daylight. Mance dismounted, approached slowly, stared at the bodies. Gods. His voice was quiet, shaken. These are Dornor's clan. They vanished 3 months ago. We thought they'd moved east, but they're here. Dead. Arranged like a message, Jon finished. The White Walkers do this. They kill. They arrange the bodies in patterns, spirals and symbols. No one knows why, but it's what they do. They did this, and they'll do it again. To more clans, more villages, until everyone's dead. Mance walked around the spiral, studying the bodies. Their eyes, they're blue, not natural blue, like ice. Their whites reanimated. The White Walkers raised the dead, turned them into soldiers. These people died. Then they were brought back, and now they'll attack the living unless we burn them. Burn them? Fire kills whites, permanently. It's the only way to make sure they don't rise again. Mance stared at him. You're serious. This is real. The others are real. And they did this. Yes. Fuck. Mance sat down hard. Fuck. I hoped it was just stories. Just fear. But this is real. They're coming. They're killing us. And we can't stop them. Not alone. But together, the Free Folk and the Night's Watch and the North together we might have a chance. How? Dragonglass, Valyrian steel, fire. Those kill White Walkers and whites. We're gathering weapons, preparing defenses. And we need fighters. Everyone who can hold a spear. That includes your people. You're asking the Free Folk to fight in your war. I'm asking the Free Folk to fight in their war. This threatens you as much as it threatens us. More even. You're closer. First in line to die. Mance, I'm offering you a chance to live, to save your people. All I'm asking in return is cooperation. Let us help each other. Mance was silent. Long minutes passed. He stared at the bodies, at the unnatural blue eyes, at the evidence of something impossible made real. Finally, we burn them, now. Then we ride back. I need to talk to the chiefs, need to make them understand. This changes everything. They gathered wood, built a pyre, dragged the bodies onto it. Jon struck the flint. The fire caught. Spread, the bodies burned with sounds that weren't quite human. Cracking. Popping. The blue in their eyes faded as the flames consumed them. It's beautiful, Mance said quietly, in a horrible way. Sending them on. Making sure they rest. It's necessary. Every body we don't burn is one more white. How many whites are there? Tens of thousands? Maybe hundreds of thousands? Every wildling who's died beyond the wall in the last few years? Every corpse in every frozen village? They're all whites now. All soldiers in the Night King's army. Night King. That's what you called him. Their leader. The first White Walker. He was a man once, 8,000 years ago. The children of the forest turned him into what he is. A weapon against the first men, but he went out of control. Started building his own army. Tried to destroy everything. The original Night's Watch stopped him. Pushed him back. Built the wall to keep him out. But he's been waiting, gathering strength. And now he's coming back. How do you kill him? Valyrian steel through the heart. In the same spot where the children's dragonglass created him. Kill him, and every White Walker he created dies. Every white falls. The entire army collapses. It's an assassination mission disguised as a battle. Mance watched the fire. You're asking me to believe a lot. I'm asking you to believe your eyes. You saw the bodies, the blue eyes, the unnatural cold. You know something's wrong. Something's out there. I'm just giving it a name. Fine. I believe you. The others are real. They're coming. We need to fight. But Jon, my people won't kneel, won't bow, won't swear oaths to southern lords or take orders from crows. That's not who we are. I'm not asking you to kneel. I'm asking you to survive. Work with us, fight beside us. Then after, when the dead are dealt with, you go your own way. Live how you want. I don't care about oaths or kneeling. I care about staying alive. You're not like other crows. I told you. I'm not usual. Mance smiled. No, you're not. Fine, Jon Snow. I'll talk to my chiefs. Convince them. It'll take time. The free folk don't make decisions fast. But I'll make it happen. Your safe passage, your alliance, will come south, and when the others attack, we'll fight beside you. Thank you. You're asking 100,000 people to trust hereditary enemies. That's not easy, but... He looked at the burning bodies. But I don't see another choice. They rode back to the camp. The chiefs were waiting. Mance called them together. I've seen proof, Mance said. The others are real. They're killing us. And Jon Snow is right. We need to go south. Need to work with the crows. Need to survive this. Arguments erupted, shouting. Some chiefs refused, called Mance mad, called Jon a liar. But Mance was patient. Firm, he described what they'd seen. The bodies, the blue eyes, the message. The others don't care if we're free folk or crow or southern lord, Mance said. They kill everyone, turn everyone into whites. And if we don't work together, if we keep fighting each other, we all die. Is that what you want? To die because you're too proud to accept help? Slowly, grudgingly, the chiefs agreed. Not all of them. Some walked away, refused to follow anymore. But most stayed. Most saw the truth. It'll take months, Mance told Jon, to gather everyone, to move them south, to prepare them for passage. But we'll do it. And Jon, when we come through that wall, we're trusting you. Don't betray us. I won't. They clasped hands, wildling and crow, enemies becoming allies. Jon rode back to Castle Black with Benjen and the Rangers. None of them spoke until they were south of the wall again. That was insane, Benjen said finally. Riding north with Mance Rayder alone, showing him bodies, making an alliance. If Father knew, Father knows. He approved this. And Uncle, it worked. Mance is bringing them through. Peacefully, without battle. We just saved tens of thousands of lives. Or damned us all if they betray us. They won't. Mance isn't like that. He wants to survive. We want to survive. That's enough. Benjen shook his head. You're either the bravest person I've met or the most foolish. Maybe both. They returned to Castle Black, sent ravens to Winterfell. The message was simple. Alliance secured. Wildlings will come south, peacefully. Prepare for the Great Passage. Father's reply came 3 days later. Well done. We'll be ready. Come home. Jon rode south with Ghost at his side. 3 missions complete. Dragonglass secured. Bolton contained. Wildlings allied. Now came the hard part, actually implementing everything. Training, building, preparing. The Night King was coming, and they had maybe 2 years to be ready. Month 7, 8, the Great Passage, the first shipment of dragonglass arrived at White Harbor on a gray morning. 3 crates, each one packed with rough obsidian chunks from Dragonstone's mines. Wyman Manderley himself was at the docks. Fat, jovial, but his eyes were sharp as he watched the crates being unloaded. This is what all the fuss is about. He picked up a piece. Black, glassy, volcanic rock, worth less than iron, worth more than gold when the dead come, Jon said. So you keep saying, and your father believes you. That's enough for me. Manderley set the glass down. How much more is coming? 5 more shipments this month, 10 next month. Davos Seaworth is coordinating from Dragonstone. They're mining day and night, and you need craftsmen, nappers, men who can shape this into weapons. Urgently. I'll put out word. Pay well and they'll come. Though napping isn't metalwork, it's a dying art. Most men don't know how anymore. Then we teach them, train them, whatever it takes. Manderley studied Jon. You're young to carry this burden. 14 years old and organizing the defense of the North. Does your father know how much responsibility he's placed on you? He knows. And Uncle, I'm not carrying this alone. Father coordinates the lords. Benjen manages the Night's Watch. Rob oversees training. I'm just making sure the pieces connect. Just. Manderley laughed. Boy, you're doing more than most lords manage in a lifetime. Don't undersell yourself. They walked through White Harbor's warehouses, empty spaces being converted to workshops. Tables, tools, instructional materials Jon had written out from memory. How to nap obsidian, how to recognize good stone versus brittle stone, How to shape arrowheads versus spear tips. First group of craftsmen starts tomorrow, Manderley said. 20 men, mix of stonemasons, flint workers, anyone with experience shaping brittle materials. You'll teach them? I'll teach them everything I know. The training was harder than Jon expected. Obsidian wasn't iron, couldn't be heated, couldn't be hammered, it had to be chipped away carefully. Each strike precise. Too much force and the whole piece shattered. Like this, Jon demonstrated. Small hammerstone, controlled strikes, flakes falling away, the arrowhead taking shape. You're removing material, finding the shape inside the stone. The craftsman watched, tried, failed, shattered pieces. Frustration. It takes practice, Jon said. Weeks of practice. Months to be truly skilled. But we don't have months, so we focus on simple shapes. Arrowheads first. They're easiest, fastest to produce. Each of you should aim for 5 arrowheads a day. That's 1 every 2 hours. Achievable with practice? 5 a day? One of the craftsmen, older man stonemason named Torrin, shook his head. We need thousands. Tens of thousands. 5 a day won't get us there. Times 20 craftsmen. That's 100 arrowheads daily. 3,000 per month, and we're training more craftsmen every week. By month 3, we'll have 100 workers. That's 500 arrowheads daily. 15,000 per month. Still not enough. It's a start, and we supplement with spear tips. Those are larger, easier to make. And daggers. And we scavenge every piece of dragonglass we can find in the north. Skagos has deposits. The stony shore. Anywhere volcanic. Torrin picked up a piece of obsidian. Studied it. This really kills them? The White Walkers? It does. I've seen it. The glass pierces their ice bodies. Shatters them completely. It's one of the only things that works. Then, we'd better get good at making them. By the end of month 7, production was steady. Not fast, but steady. 300 arrowheads, 50 spear tips, a dozen daggers. Jon sent the first batch to Castle Black with a letter for Benjen. First weapons ready. More coming monthly. Distribute to rangers for testing. Report any issues with quality or effectiveness. We need to know if these work before we commit everything to this plan. Benjen's response came 2 weeks later. Tested the dragonglass on dead animals. Punctures flesh easily. Brittle on impact with bone arrowheads shatter if they hit ribs directly. But effective enough. Rangers are impressed. Most had never seen obsidian weapons before. Note, we need more. Much more. Current stockpile would arm maybe 300 men. We need to arm thousands. Also, the wildlings are gathering. Mance has sent word. They're moving toward the wall. Slower than expected. Families with children, elderly, wounded. Maybe 60,000 people based on scouts' estimates. Less than the 100,000 originally feared, but still a massive migration. Prepare Winterfell. This will strain every resource we have. Jon showed the letter to Father. 60,000. Father was quiet. Where do we put 60,000 people? The gift. Brandon's gift. The lands south of the wall that were given to the Night's Watch centuries ago. Most of it's abandoned now. Empty villages. Fallow fields. The wildlings can settle there. That's Night's Watch land. The Night's Watch can't use it all. And we need those people alive. Fighting with us. Not dying beyond the wall. 60,000 mouths. Through winter. We ration. We hunt. We fish. The gift has resources. Forests, rivers, game. The wildlings know how to survive on less than we do. They'll manage. And when the Night's Watch brothers object, when they see wildlings settling on their lands, Bowen Marsh nearly had an aneurysm when you proposed this. Othel Yarwick called it treason. Alistair Thorne wanted to arrest you. Alistair Thorne is an ass, and Bowen Marsh is scared. They'll adapt. Once they see the alternative, once they understand the dead are coming, they'll accept it. You have a lot of faith in men changing their minds. I have faith in survival instinct. When people realize the choice is accept help or die, most choose life. Father was silent. Then, when do they arrive? Mance estimates 6 weeks. They're moving slowly, bringing everything they own, entire lives packed onto sleds and carts. Then we have 6 weeks to prepare, organize shelter, food distribution, medical care, and to convince the North that this is necessary. Will you call the council, the one you mentioned? gathering the northern lords. Yes, in 3 weeks, every house sends a representative. We'll explain everything. The White Walkers, the Wildling Alliance, the dragonglass weapons, everything, and we'll make it clear this is happening, with their support or without it, but preferably with it. The Northern Council convened at Winterfell on a cold morning in month 8. 40 lords and ladies, representatives from every major house, some minor houses too. The great hall was packed. Jon stood beside father at the high table. Benjen on the other side, Robb nearby, presenting a united front. Father stood. The room quieted. Thank you for coming. I know the journey was difficult for many of you, but what we discussed today affects every person in the north, every family, every house, the future of our realm. He paused. Let the weight settle. The White Walkers are returning. Silence. Then murmurs, disbelief, some laughter. I know how it sounds, father continued. The others have been extinct for 8,000 years. They're legends, stories to scare children, but they're real. They're gathering beyond the wall, and in 2 years, maybe less, they'll attack. Lord Stark. The voice belonged to great Jon Umber, massive man, loud. With respect, this is madness. The White Walkers are myths. Everyone knows that. I thought so too, until my son showed me evidence. Until Rangers reported findings. Until we couldn't deny it anymore. Evidence? What evidence? Jon stepped forward. Bodies, arranged in spiral patterns, frozen by unnatural cold. With blue eyes that glow, reanimated corpses that attack the living. We found dozens of these sites beyond the wall. The White Walkers are killing wildlings, raising them as whites, building an army. Wildlings. Lady Dustin's voice was cold. You're taking the word of wildlings? Raiders and thieves? I'm taking the word of people who are dying, who are fleeing south because their villages are being destroyed by something they can't fight, and I'm offering them safe passage, through the wall, to settle in the gift. The room exploded. Shouting, protests, multiple lords on their feet. You're letting wildlings through the wall. Roose Bolton's voice cut through the noise. He'd sent a representative, a cousin named Walton. You're inviting our ancient enemies into the north? I'm inviting refugees, Jon said. People who will fight beside us when the dead come. Every wildling who crosses the wall alive is one less white in the enemy army. It's mathematics, strategy, not mercy. It's treason, Walton Bolton said. Betraying 8,000 years of tradition, of defense. The wall exists to keep them out. The wall exists to keep the White Walkers out, Benjen said, standing. I'm first ranger of the Night's Watch. I've served for 20 years. I've seen things beyond the wall that shouldn't exist. And I'm telling you, Jon Snow is right. The dead are coming. We need every living person we can get, including the wildlings. This is madness, someone muttered. No. Father's voice was steel. Madness is ignoring the threat. Madness is letting pride and tradition blind us to reality. I'm not asking your permission. I'm informing you of what's happening. The wildlings will come through the wall. They will settle in the gift. They will be armed with dragonglass weapons, and when the White Walkers attack, they will fight beside us. This is happening. And if we refuse? Lady Dustin asked. If we don't accept this, then you're free to return to your holdfasts, bar your gates, refuse to help. But when the dead come for you, when your people are dying and being raised as whites, don't ask for aid from Winterfell. We'll remember who stood with us and who didn't. The threat hung in the air, cold, final. Great Jon Umber stood. Everyone tensed. He was known for his temper, his pride. Lord Stark, I don't like wildlings. Never have, fought them half my life. But, he paused, but I trust you. You've never lied to the North. Never led us wrong. If you say the White Walkers are coming, I believe you. House Umber stands with Winterfell. We'll fight. We'll help. We'll do whatever's needed. Slowly, others stood. Lord Manderly, Lord Karstark, Lord Serwyn. House by house. Not all of them. Lady Dustin remained seated. The Bolton representative sat stone-faced. But enough. Enough houses pledged support. Thank you, Father said. The North has always been strongest when we're united, when we remember our words. Winter is coming, and this time, winter brings death. But we'll face it together, as Northerners, as pack. The council continued for hours. Details, logistics, how to arm men, where to position defenses, what resources each house could contribute. Jon presented the dragonglass production numbers, the timeline for arming 10,000 men, the plans for fortifying the walls' abandoned castles. Benjen described the ranging reports, the evidence of White Walker activity, the systematic destruction of wildling villages. Robb outlined the training regimen, how northern men would learn to fight whites, the importance of fire, of not letting the dead get close. By evening, they had a plan, not perfect, not complete, but a plan. The houses would contribute men and supplies. White Harbor would continue weapons production. Castle Black would coordinate the wildling passage. Winterfell would serve as command center and fallback position. One more thing, Father said as the council ended. The Bolton situation. Roose Bolton has fortified the Dreadfort. He's not in open rebellion, but he's also not cooperating. I want to resolve this before the White Walkers arrive. We can't afford division. Attack him, Great Jon suggested. Storm the Dreadfort. Drag him out. Too costly. The Dreadfort is nearly impregnable. We'd lose hundreds of men. And we need those men for the real fight. Then what? Lady Mormont asked. She'd come herself despite the distance from Bear Island. Let him sit there? Plotting? We contain him, watch him, and we offer terms. One last chance to bend the knee, to rejoin the North, to fight with us. If he refuses, we deal with him after the White Walkers are defeated. And if he causes trouble before then we end him, quickly, permanently. But I'm hoping it doesn't come to that. The lords departed over the next 2 days, returning to their holdfasts to prepare, to arm their men, to ready for war. Jon watched them go from the battlements, Ghost beside him. Think they believed you? Robb asked. He'd joined Jon on the wall. Some did, some didn't, but enough believed Father, that's what matters. The Boltons didn't pledge support. No, they didn't. We should deal with them now, before they become a bigger problem. Father's right. We can't afford the casualties. Every man who dies fighting Roose Bolton is one less man fighting the dead. We contain, we watch, we wait. And if he attacks while we're fighting the White Walkers, Robb was quiet. Then, do you really think we can win against an army of the dead? Jon thought about the long night, about the Battle of Winterfell, about how close they'd come to losing, about how many had died. I don't know, but we have a better chance than we did before. We're prepared, we're armed, we're united. That's more than most of the realm has. That's not exactly reassuring. It's honest, and right now, honest is all I can offer. Month 9, the crossing. The wildlings arrived on a frozen morning. Jon stood on top of the wall at Castle Black, 700 feet of ice beneath him. And beyond, stretching to the horizon, people, tens of thousands of them, moving south in a massive column, families, warriors, elderly, children, mammoths pulling sleds, giants walking among them, dogs and goats and everything a people could carry when abandoning their homeland. Gods, Benjen breathed. There's so many. Mance said 60,000. Looks accurate. How do we get them through? The tunnel at Castle Black can handle maybe 100 people per hour. At that rate, it'll take weeks. Eastwatch has ships. They can ferry people across. And we open the gates at Oakenshield and Greyguard. Spread the passage across 50 miles. Faster, safer. The mechanisms might not work. Then we fix them. We have a week before the column arrives. Get engineers. Get workers. Open those gates. The Night's Watch was divided. Some brothers supported the plan. Others openly opposed it. Bowen Marsh had gathered a faction of refusers. Men who believed letting wildlings through was betrayal of their vows. Jon found Marsh in the common room, surrounded by his supporters. This is wrong, Marsh said when he saw Jon. Fundamentally wrong. We swore to guard the realms of men. That means keeping wildlings out, not letting them in. It means protecting the realm from the others, Jon countered. The wildlings aren't the threat anymore. They're allies, refugees, people who will fight beside us. You're naive. They'll turn on us, raid our villages, kill our people. They're savages. They're smart enough to know that fighting us now means dying to the White Walkers later. Mance understands that. His chiefs understand that. This alliance holds. You're risking everything on trust, on hope, on the word of a deserter who became their king. I'm risking nothing. The alternative is fighting them at the wall, losing thousands on both sides, weakening ourselves before the real enemy arrives. This way, we preserve strength, build alliances, actually have a chance when the dead come. Marsh shook his head. You'll regret this. We all will. Jon left him there, muttering, plotting. Marsh and his faction were a problem, but a manageable one. As long as they didn't actively sabotage the passage, Jon could work around them. The gates opened 3 days later, engineers from Winterfell and White Harbor working around the clock. The mechanisms were rusted, ancient, but functional. Mance sent scouts ahead, meeting with Benjen and Jon to coordinate. 3 main columns, Mance explained. Maps spread on a table. Western group goes through Castle Black, Central through Oakenshield, Eastern through Greyguard and Eastwatch. We spread out, move fast, minimize time people are vulnerable during the crossing. What about the giants? Benjen asked. They can't fit through the tunnels. They climb, or we build ramps. Giants are strong. They'll manage. And the mammoths, those go through Castle Black only. The main gate there is wider. We'll lead them through carefully. Should work. Jon studied the timeline. 7 days. That's how long the crossing will take if everything goes smoothly. Nothing ever goes smoothly, Mance said. Plan for 10 days. Maybe 12. There will be problems. Injuries, people too weak to move fast. We'll adapt. The crossing began at dawn on the first day of month 9. The western column approached Castle Black. 5,000 people. Warriors at the front and rear, families in the middle, protected. Jon watched from the wall as they entered the tunnel, one by one. Slowly, the sound echoed. Footsteps, voices, crying children. This is surreal, Robb said. He'd come from Winterfell to observe. Wildlings walking through Castle Black, peacefully. It's necessary. They worked through the day, through the night. Torches lighting the tunnel. Night's Watch brothers guiding people through, directing them south to temporary camps where food and shelter waited. By dawn of the second day, 2,000 had crossed at Castle Black, another 1,000 at Oakenshield, 500 at Greyguard. Problems emerged immediately. A woman went into labor halfway through the tunnel at Castle Black. They had to stop, clear space, bring a midwife. The baby was born in the tunnel, first wildling child born south of the wall in centuries. They named her Hope. A giant panicked in the tunnel at Oakenshield, started roaring, thrashing, nearly caused a stampede. It took 4 other giants and Mance himself to calm the creature down, get it through safely. At Eastwatch, ships ferrying people across hit rough waters. 2 boats capsized. 13 people drowned before they could be rescued. Bodies pulled from the freezing water. Burials on the southern shore. This is chaos, one of the Night's Watch brothers said. Young man, overwhelmed. This is controlled chaos, Jon corrected. People are crossing, mostly safe, mostly alive. That's success. By the 5th day, 30,000 had crossed. Camps south of the wall were crowded, stretched thin, food supplies running low. We need more food, the camp coordinator told Jon. A wildling woman named Carla who'd taken charge of organization. People are hungry, children especially. Another week of this and we'll have starvation. Winterfell is sending supplies. Should arrive in 2 days. We need food now. Hunt. Fish. There's game in the haunted forest south of the wall. Organize hunting parties. Feed your people. Carla nodded. Left to organize. The crossing continued. Day 6. Day 7. Numbers growing. 40,000 people south of the wall now. The camps stretched for miles. Crude shelters. Cook fires everywhere. The smell of smoke and unwashed bodies. Jon walked through the camps, Ghost at his side. People stared, some hostile, some curious, most too exhausted to care. He found Mance near the central fire. The king beyond the wall looked tired, older than he had weeks ago. This is harder than I expected, Mance admitted, moving this many people, keeping them fed, keeping them calm. Half of them don't trust the crows. The other half don't trust me for leading them south. It's a lot. You're doing well. More than half crossed? Another few days and everyone's through. And then what? We settle in the gift? Then wait for the others to attack? That's the plan. Settle. Prepare. Train with dragonglass weapons. And when they come, we fight together. You make it sound simple. It's not. But it's the only option we have. A commotion near the wall. shouting. Jon ran toward the sound. One of the Night's Watch brothers, Rast, a criminal who'd taken the black to avoid hanging, was harassing a wildling woman, grabbing her, pushing her. Back off. Jon's voice was sharp. Command. Rast turned, sneered. Fuck off, Snow. This is between me and the savage. This is between you and me? Let her go. Or what? You'll tell the Lord Commander? He's not here. Neither is Benjen. It's just you, and you're nobody. A bastard playing Lord. Jon's hand went to Longclaw, drew the blade. Let her go. Now. Rast released the woman. She stumbled away. Jon kept his sword pointed at Rast. You going to kill me over a wildling? Rast asked. Over a savage. I'm going to kill you if you touch another person without permission. Wildling or crow. Doesn't matter. You're here to help, not to abuse people. She's not people. She's... Jon moved. Fast. Longclaw's flat slapped across Rast's face. The man went down. Blood from his nose. Say that again. Jon's voice was cold. Dead. Say she's not people. See what happens. Rast stayed down, smart enough to recognize when he was outmatched. Get him out of here, Jon told nearby brothers. Confine him to quarters. He's done helping with the crossing. Jon sheathed Longclaw, helped the woman up. Thank you, she said, accented common tongue. Didn't think a crow would help. Not all crows are like him. Most are, but some aren't. Remember that. She nodded, disappeared into the camp. Jon returned to his post. The crossing continued. Day 8, Day 9. 50,000 people south of the wall now. Only 10,000 remaining beyond. The end was in sight. Month 10, the Bolton raids. The attack came at dawn. Bolton forces, 200 cavalry, swept down on a wildling settlement in the Gift. The refugees had been there 3 days, setting up permanent shelters, starting to feel safe. The cavalry cut through them like a scythe, killing, burning, then retreating before northern reinforcements could arrive. 63 dead, 40 wounded. The settlement destroyed. Jon received the news at Castle Black, rode immediately to the site with Robb and 100 men. The settlement was ash, bodies everywhere, women, children, elderly. None had been warriors, none had been threats. This was slaughter, Robb said. His face was pale. This was murder. Standing among the bodies, his face was stone, cold, furious. You promised safety, Mance said when he saw Jon. You promised we'd be protected south of the wall, and now 60 of my people are dead, killed by your own countrymen. Roose Bolton did this. Not the North, not House Stark. Bolton is northern, he's yours. And he murdered my people. And he'll pay. I swear it. We'll hunt him down. Make him answer for this. When? How? You've been saying he's contained, that he can't hurt us. But he just did. So what now? Jon had no answer, stared at the bodies, at the carnage. Father arrived 3 hours later, with 500 men. He walked through the settlement, saw everything. When he emerged, his face was set. This ends, Father said. Now, today. No more waiting. No more hoping Roose will see reason. This was an act of war, of rebellion, and we'll respond accordingly. We march on the Dreadfort? Robb asked. No. That's still a siege we can't afford. But we don't have to storm the castle. We take everything else. Every Bolton village, every Bolton holdfast. We strip him of lands and resources. We isolate him completely, and we offer a bounty, 50 gold dragons for Roose Bolton, dead or alive. That won't be popular, Benjen warned. Putting a price on a lord's head, some houses will see it as overreach. Let them. This can't stand. Roose killed refugees under our protection, violated every custom of hospitality, every rule of warfare. He's outlawed himself, and we'll treat him accordingly. Mance was listening. What about my people, the ones who died? They'll be honored, Father said, given proper burial, and their families will receive compensation. Silver, food, whatever they need. And Mance, I swear on my honor, on House Stark, this won't happen again. We'll protect your people, or we'll die trying. Mance was quiet, then nodded. All right, I believe you. But Lord Stark, if Bolton attacks again, we're fighting back. My warriors won't just sit and die. They'll defend themselves. Good. They should. and they'll have northern support doing it. The northern forces mobilized, not to storm the Dreadfort. Father was right. That was a trap. But to surround Bolton lands, cut off trade, cut off supplies, make it impossible for Roose to operate. Villages were occupied, grain stores seized. Bolton bannermen were given a choice: renounce Roose and swear directly to Winterfell, or be treated as rebels. Most chose Winterfell. The Risewells. The Dustons reluctantly. Smaller houses who'd been Bolton vassals for centuries suddenly found themselves directly pledged to House Stark. Roose was isolated, trapped in the Dreadfort with maybe 500 loyal men. No supplies coming in, no allies riding to help. But he wasn't finished. 2 weeks later, another attack, this time on a supply convoy heading to Castle Black. 20 wagons of food and weapons. Bolton raiders ambushed them, killed the guards, burned the supplies. Then another attack. A northern patrol near the last river. 10 men dead. Then another. A wildling hunting party. 12 killed. He's raiding, Robb said, studying maps. Hit and run. Small forces, striking fast, then disappearing. He can't win a pitched battle, so he's bleeding us slowly. Classic Bolton tactics, Father said. Roose fought this way during the Greyjoy Rebellion, harassing supply lines. Avoiding direct engagement, he's patient, willing to bleed us for months if necessary. Then we hunt him, Jon said. Rangers, scouts, track his raiders, find their camps, kill them. That's what he wants. He's trying to draw us into the forests, into terrain where his men have the advantage, where we can't use cavalry effectively. So what do? Let him keep raiding? No. We adapt, we change our tactics. Smaller patrols, better scouting. We protect the convoys and settlements better, and we wait. Sooner or later, Roose runs out of supplies, out of men, out of options. Then we take him. The raids continued through month 10, hit-and-run attacks, ambushes. Nothing major, nothing that changed the strategic situation, but enough to be painful, enough to cost lives. 37 people died to Bolton raids that month. Mix of northern soldiers and wildlings, each death a weight on Jon's conscience. I should have killed him, should have executed Roose when I had the chance, should have ignored the politics and ended the threat. But he knew that was hindsight. In the moment, executing Roose without overwhelming evidence would have fractured the North, would have made other houses question Father's judgment. Still, 37 dead because he'd let Roose live. The month ended with no resolution. The Dreadfort still held. Bolton raiders still operating. The North still bleeding slowly. We can't afford this, Father said in council. Every man we lose to Bolton is one less fighter when the White Walkers come. Every resource we spend hunting him is a resource not going to the wall. This has to end. Offer him terms again, Jon suggested. One last chance. Come out. Face trial. If he's innocent of ordering the raids, he goes free. If he's guilty, execution. But at least give him the option. He'll refuse. But we'll have tried. And when we finally storm the Dreadfort, no one can say we didn't offer mercy. Father nodded. Send the terms. One final offer. If he refuses, we end this, whatever the cost. Month 11. Dragonglass production scales. White Harbor's workshops were running day and night. 50 craftsmen now, working in shifts. The sound of hammerstones on obsidian echoed constantly. Jon walked through the workshops, inspecting quality, checking production numbers. Torrin, the old stonemason who'd been skeptical at the start, was now the workshop master. He held up an arrowhead for Jon's inspection. 7,500 this month, Torrin said, plus 1,200 spear tips. 300 daggers. We're finally hitting the targets you set. Jon examined the arrowhead. Clean edges. Good point. Proper thickness. Quality's improving. The men are getting better, faster. Less waste. We're also sourcing local obsidian now. Found deposits near the stony shore. Not as pure as Dragonstone glass, but workable. Supplements the shipments from the south. How many weapons total? Since we started? Torrin consulted his ledgers. 23,000 arrowheads, 4,000 spear tips, 800 daggers. Enough to arm maybe 3,000 men if we're distributing evenly. Not enough. No, but we're scaling. 2 new workshops opening next month. One at Winterfell, one at the Rills. Each will have 20 craftsmen. Combined production should hit 15,000 arrowheads monthly. Give us 6 more months, we'll have enough for 10,000 men. We don't have 6 months. We have maybe 18 months before the White Walkers attack. Then we work harder. Train more craftsmen, mine more obsidian. But Lord Snow, there are limits. Napping isn't like smithing. You can't just throw more bodies at it and expect faster results. The skill takes time to learn. Jon knew he was right, knew they were doing everything possible. But it still wasn't fast enough. Keep pushing, Jon said. Every weapon we make is one more chance to kill a white, one more person who might survive. Rode to Castle Black to inspect the weapons already distributed to the Night's Watch. Rangers were training with the dragonglass weapons, learning their strengths and weaknesses. They're effective, a ranger named Edison Tollett told Jon. The arrowheads punch through leather and light armor easily, but they shatter on hard impact. Hit a white in the skull, the arrowhead breaks. You need body shots, center mass, that kills them. What about the spear tips? Better, more stable. You can thrust multiple times before the tip breaks. But the shafts are the problem. We're using regular wood. Whites grab the shafts, splinter them. We need stronger wood or shorter spears. Stabbing weapons, not thrusting. Jon made notes. Adjustments for the craftsmen, design improvements. What about fire? Jon asked. You're training with fire too? Aye. Pitch-soaked arrows, oil bombs. Every ranger carries flint and tinder. But Jon, fire's hard to use in combat. Wind blows it out. Snow smothers it. And whites don't fear it until they're actually burning. They'll walk right into flames if that's where their target is. So dragonglass and fire. Combined, not either or. Right, dragonglass to kill them. Fire to make sure they stay dead. The training continued, day after day, rangers practicing, learning, adapting. Jon watched them. These men would be the first line of defense when the White Walkers came. They needed to be ready. Lord Snow, a runner from Winterfell, out of breath. Your father requests your presence. Urgent. The Bolton situation. Jon rode south immediately, reached Winterfell by evening. Father was in the war room, with Robb and Roderick Castle. They looked grim. Roose responded to our terms, Father said. He handed Jon a letter. Jon read, Lord Stark, your terms are rejected. I will not submit to trial by a lord who has already judged me guilty, who has stripped my lands, who has turned my bannermen against me. You claim I ordered the raids? I claim self-defense. You attacked first, seizing my villages, occupying my lands, outlawing me without cause. Everything I've done has been in response to your aggression. But I tire of this game. You want the Dread Fort? Come take it. Bring your armies. Bring your bastard son and his wildling friends. Storm my walls. See how many men you lose. Or leave me alone. Let me live in peace in my ancestral home. Stop sending envoys with ultimatums and threats. Stop trying to destroy my house. The choice is yours, Lord Stark. But understand, if you attack, I will make you pay for every inch of ground. The Dreadfort has never fallen. It won't fall now. Rose Bolton. He's daring us to attack, Robb said, taunting us. Because he knows we can't afford it, Father replied. He's right about that. The Dreadfort is nearly impregnable. We'd lose hundreds storming it, maybe thousands, and we need those men for the White Walkers. So he wins. Robb's frustration was obvious. He sits in his castle, keeps raiding, keeps killing, and we do nothing? We do nothing now, Father corrected. After the White Walkers are dealt with, after the real war is won, we come back. We settle this, but not before. And in the meantime, while he's raiding, we defend better, protect our people better, and we accept that some losses are inevitable. It's not ideal, but it's reality. Jon stared at the letter, at Rose's words. The man was right about one thing. He'd been cornered, attacked, given no option but to fight back. But he's also murdering innocents, raiding refugees. That's not self-defense. That's cruelty. That's the Bolton way. I agree with Father, Jon said finally. We can't storm the Dreadfort. Not now. But we don't have to. We just have to outlast him. Keep him contained until the White Walkers come. Then, if he survives the long night, we deal with him. And if he doesn't survive, Robb asked, if the White Walkers kill him for us, then the problem solves itself. Father nodded. It's settled then. The Boltons are contained. We stop actively pursuing them. We focus everything on the wall, on preparation, on survival. Agreed? Agreed. The council ended. Jon stayed behind as the others left. You're angry, Father observed. I am. At myself. For not killing Roose when I had the chance. Before any of this happened. You made the right choice. Given the information you had, the evidence available, executing a lord on suspicion alone would have been tyranny. And now people are dead because I hesitated. That's leadership. That's war. You carry the weight and you keep moving. That's all anyone can do. Jon nodded, but the weight didn't feel any lighter. He left the war room, found Arya in the training yard, still drilling with Syrio, even in the evening cold. She saw him, ran over. Did you hear? Father's letting the Boltons stay in their castle, even after they killed all those people. It's more complicated than that. How? They murdered refugees. Under our protection. They should die for that. They should. But if we attack the Dreadfort, we lose hundreds of our own men we need for the White Walkers. So we wait. We let Roose sit in his castle. And after the real war, we deal with him. That's not justice. No, it's pragmatism. Justice comes later. Survival comes first. Arya scowled. I don't like it. Neither do I. But it's the right choice. Sometimes right choices feel wrong. She was quiet. Then, in your future, the one that didn't happen, did the Boltons pay for what they did? Jon thought about Ramsay, about the Battle of the Bastards, about watching Ramsay get torn apart by his own dogs. Yes, they paid, eventually. But a lot of people died first, and I'm trying to make sure fewer people die this time. Good, because if they don't pay, if they get away with murder, then what's the point? Why follow the rules if monsters can break them and never face consequences? They will face consequences, I promise. But timing matters, and right now we have bigger monsters to fight. Arya nodded, went back to training. Jon watched her, thought about everything that was coming, the weapons being produced, the defenses being prepared, and Roose Bolton sitting in the Dreadfort, waiting, planning. Still dangerous, but contained. For now, that would have to be enough. Month 2, 1-4. The storm gathers. The wall shook. Jon felt it from 700 feet up, a tremor that shouldn't exist. Ice didn't shake. Ice didn't move. Not unless something was making it move. What was that? Ed Tollett asked. The ranger had gone pale. Jon looked north, beyond the wall into the forest that stretched to the horizon. The sky was wrong. Too dark for midday, gray clouds boiling, and the temperature, it was dropping, fast, unnaturally fast. They're coming, Jon said quietly. Who's coming? The White Walkers, sooner than expected. They're accelerating. He'd known this might happen. The report had warned him. Timeline acceleration factors. If Jon's interference is detectable, the Night King might accelerate. If Jon saves people who originally died, the Night King loses future whites. Jon had changed too much, saved too many, the Night King knew, somehow. And he was adapting. Sound the horn, Jon ordered. 3 blasts. Enemy sighted. The horn blew. 3 long blasts that echoed across the wall. The ancient warning, the one that meant White Walkers. Men scrambled to positions. Archers. Defenders. Everyone staring north with fear. How long? Benjen appeared. First Ranger, ready for orders. Days, maybe a week. They're still distant but moving fast, faster than they should be. We're not ready. The wildlings are still settling. The weapons aren't all distributed. The defenses are what they are. We work with what we have. Send ravens. To Winterfell. To every northern house. To the wildling camps. Tell them, the enemy is coming. Prepare for war. Winterfell erupted in controlled chaos. Father read the raven message, called immediate council. Every available lord. Every captain. Every person who could contribute. The White Walkers are marching. Father announced. Jon's warning. They're moving faster than predicted. We have days, maybe a week. Then they hit the wall. Days? Great Jon Umber stood. We need weeks. Months. We're not ready. We're as ready as we'll be. The dragonglass weapons are distributed. 28,000 arrowheads. 5,000 spear tips. Enough to arm 4,000 men effectively. It's not ideal, but it's what we have. What's the plan? Lord Stark asked. Defense in depth. The wall is first line. Castle black. Oaken shield. Grey guard. All manned. Maximum defenders. Hold as long as possible. Bleed the enemy. Buy time. And when the wall falls? Someone asked. If the wall falls, father corrected. We fall back to last hearth. House Umber's fortress. Another defensive position. Continue bleeding them. Then Winterfell. Final stand. But gentlemen, the goal isn't to hold every position. The goal is to kill the Night King. Everything else is delay tactics. How do we kill him? Lady Mormont asked. Valyrian steel. Through the heart. In the same spot where he was created. Father gestured to Jon, who'd arrived during the night. Jon's seen it done. Knows what's required. We position him and anyone else with Valyrian steel near Bran. The Night King will come for Bran, for the three-eyed raven's power. That's when we strike. This is madness, someone muttered. This is survival, father said. Now, assignments. Great Jon, you take the Umbers and Last Hearth defenses. Karstark, you coordinate the eastern approaches. Manderley, your reserve forces and supply coordinator. Everyone else, you know your positions. Move. The lords scattered, organizing, mobilizing. Jon found Robb in the armory. His brother was checking armor, weapons, preparing. You're going to the wall, Robb said. Not a question. I have to. I'm the only one who knows what we're facing, who's fought them before in a timeline that doesn't exist anymore. Robb's voice was tight. Jon, what if your knowledge is wrong? What if things are different here? The Night King? How to kill them? That doesn't change. And you think we can win? Jon met his brother's eyes. I think we have a chance. Better than before. But Robb, a lot of people are going to die, no matter what we do, no matter how prepared we are. This is the long night. People die in the dark. Will you? I don't know. Maybe. But if I do, you lead. You hold Winterfell. You protect the family. You finish this. Don't talk like that. I have to. Because it's real. This is happening. And I need you ready, not just for fighting, for leading, for making the hard choices. Can you do that? Robb was quiet, then nodded. I can. But Jon, come back, please. We've lost enough. I don't want to lose you too. I'll try. The wildling camps mobilized faster than expected. Mance Rayder proved his worth. Within hours of receiving Jon's warning, he had warriors organizing, weapons distributing, defenses preparing. Jon met him at the largest camp. 10,000 wildlings, armed with dragonglass and steel and determination. How many can fight? Jon asked. 20,000 warriors. Another 10,000 who can hold a spear if needed. The rest, old, young, injured, were moving south. Toward Winterfell, away from the wall. No point keeping non-combatants close to the battle. Good. And your warriors, they understand what they're facing? I told them. Dead men, walking corpses, kill them with fire or dragonglass. Don't let them surround you. Don't let them bite or scratch you. If you're wounded, you risk turning. They understand. Morale? Mance smiled grimly. The free folk don't scare easy. We've been running from the others for months. Now we get to fight back. They're ready. What about coordination with the Night's Watch? That's trickier. Some of your brothers still hate us. Don't trust us. I've had reports of fights. Near riots. Bowen Marsh's faction especially. They're refusing to fight alongside wildlings. Marsh is a fool, but I'll handle him. Your warriors focus on the battle, on staying alive, on killing the enemy. And after, if we survive, what happens to the free folk then? You settle. In the gift, in the lands you've been given. You live free. Build villages. Raise families. Whatever you want. The alliance holds. I promised you that. I keep my promises. Mance studied him. You're not like other crows, Jon Snow. You keep saying that. But I'm starting to believe it. Month 14. The wall breaks. The attack came at midnight. No warning. No scouts reporting movement. One moment the wall was standing. 700 feet of ice and magic and ancient protection. The next moment, it fell. Not the whole wall. Just a section. 200 feet near Eastwatch. The ice shattered. Exploded outward. Chunks the size of houses tumbling down, crushing everything below. Jon was at Castle Black when he felt it. the entire wall shuddering, men screaming, alarms sounding. He ran to the southern edge, looked east, saw the gap, saw the breach. How? Benjen was beside him. The magic should hold. The wall can't fall unless the Night King found a way through the wards. Jon's mind raced. In the original timeline, the wall had fallen when the Night King killed Viserion. Used undead dragon fire to melt it. But there were no dragons here. So what? Bran. Where's Bran? Jon demanded. Where is he? At Winterfell. Why? The mark. The Night King touched Bran in the future. Marked him. That mark broke the cave protections. If Bran crossed the wall while marked, the magic would fail, Benjen finished. But Bran's here, in this timeline. He never went north. Never became the three-eyed raven. Not yet. But maybe... Jon stopped. Thought. What if the magic knows? What if the wall's protections are reacting to what Bran will become? To his future self. Time isn't linear when magic's involved. The Greenseers see past and future simultaneously. Maybe the magic does too. That's speculation. It doesn't matter. The wall's breached. The dead are coming through. We need to respond. The army of the dead poured through the gap. Thousands of whites, moving fast. No formation, no strategy, just overwhelming numbers. The defenders at Eastwatch fought desperately, archers firing dragonglass arrows, spearmen holding the line, fire trenches igniting. It wasn't enough. The whites climbed over the trenches, absorbed the arrows, kept coming. For every one that fell, 3 more took its place. Fall back, the commander at Eastwatch, a grizzled ranger named Jeremy Riker, gave the order, get everyone south. We can't hold. The garrison retreated, fighting the whole way, leaving the dead behind them. Jon coordinated from Castle Black, sending reinforcements, organizing the fallback, trying to slow the enemy advance. How many? Father's Raven asked. Sent from Winterfell. Jon responded, unknown, thousands confirmed, maybe tens of thousands. Moving south fast, Eastwatch fallen. Consolidating at Castle Black and Oakenshield, will hold as long as possible. The whites hit Castle Black at dawn. Jon stood on the wall, Longclaw in hand, Ghost beside him, watching the army approach. They filled the horizon, a sea of dead, moving in silence, no drums, no horns, no sound except the shuffle of frozen feet and the scrape of rusted weapons. Gods preserve us, Ed breathed. Gods won't help, Jon said. Only we can help ourselves. Archers, knock arrows, fire on my command. The whites reached arrow range. Jon raised his hand. Loose! 200 arrows flew, dragonglass tips glittering. They struck. Whites fell, shattered, turned to ice fragments. Again, keep firing. Another volley, another. The whites kept coming, climbing over their own dead. Reaching the wall's base, they started climbing. Fire the oil, Jon ordered. Barrels of burning oil poured down the wall's face. The whites caught fire, burned, fell, but more took their places. They're too many, a ranger said, panicking. We can't. We can, Jon said firmly. We hold, we kill them, we buy time. That's the mission. The battle raged for hours, whites climbing, defenders pushing them back, fire and dragonglass in desperation. Then Jon saw him. The Night King, riding a dead horse, surrounded by White Walkers, his lieutenants, 12 of them. Ice armor gleaming, blue eyes cold and intelligent. The Night King raised his arms. The dead who'd fallen, the whites Jon's forces had destroyed, they rose again, reformed, rejoined the attack. He's resurrecting them, Jon said, faster than we can kill them. We can't win this by attrition. Then what do we do? Benjen demanded. We target the White Walkers. Kill them. That destroys the whites they raised. It's the only way to thin the numbers. Jon spotted one of the White Walkers, separate from the Night King, commanding a section of whites near the eastern edge of the battlefield. I'm going down, Jon said. What? Jon, that's suicide. It's necessary. I need to kill that walker. Destroy his whites. Make a dent in their numbers. Cover me. Used the winch lift, dropped into the battle below. Ghost was already there. The direwolf had somehow climbed down, red eyes blazing. white fur stained with black-white blood. Together they pushed through the horde. Jon's long claw cut through whites like they were nothing. Valyrian steel shattered their frozen bodies. Ghost tore throats, ripped limbs. They reached the White Walker. It turned, saw Jon, smiled, a terrible expression on an inhuman face. It drew its ice blade, moved to attack. Jon was faster. Longclaw met the ice sword. The blades clashed. The White Walker looked surprised. Most swords shattered against ice weapons, but Valyrian steel held. Jon pressed the attack. 3 strikes, 4. The Walker parried, countered, fast, skilled. But Jon had fought White Walkers before, knew their patterns, knew their weaknesses. He feinted left. The Walker moved to block. Jon reversed, drove Longclaw through its chest. The White Walker screamed, a sound like breaking ice. Its body shattered, exploded into frozen shards. Around them, hundreds of whites collapsed, destroyed instantly. The Walker's thralls released. Jon didn't stop, spotted another White Walker, charged. This one was ready. 2 other Walkers moved to support it. 3 on 1. Jon fought desperately, Longclaw blurring, parrying ice blades from 3 directions. One Walker's sword scraped his shoulder. Ice-cold pain. His arm went numb. Ghost leaped, grabbed one Walker's leg, threw it off balance. Jon capitalized, drove Longclaw through its skull. 2 down, thousands more whites collapsing. The 3rd Walker retreated, moved back toward the Night King's position. Smart. Realizing Jon was dangerous, Jon tried to follow. A wall of whites blocked his path, hundreds of them surrounding him. Jon. Benjen's voice from above. Fall back, you can't. An ice spear flew past Jon's head, missed by inches. He looked up. The Night King, staring at him. Another spear forming in its hand. Jon ran, dodged through whites, Ghost clearing a path. The spear struck where Jon had been standing, would have killed him. He reached the wall, grabbed the winch line, started ascending. Another spear flew. This one hit the wall beside him. Ice exploded, shards cutting his face. Jon climbed faster, reached the top, collapsed. 2 Walkers down, he gasped. Thousands of whites destroyed. But there's too many. We can't. The wall shook again. Another section, this time near Castle Black itself, cracked, started to crumble. Everyone off the wall, Benjen roared. It's coming down. The defenders scrambled, descended as fast as they could. Some didn't make it. The wall section collapsed, crushed them. Castle Black was no longer defensible. Full retreat, Jon ordered. South to Last Hearth, fighting withdrawal. Burn everything behind us. Mix of Night's Watch and wildling volunteers, racing south with the army of the dead behind them. They burned villages as they went, denied the enemy fresh corpses. Every body was a potential white. Better ash than ammunition. The retreat took 3 days. Constant fighting. Constant losses. Men dying. Being left behind. No time for burial. Just survival. They reached Last Hearth on the 4th day. Great Jon Umber had the fortress ready. Walls manned. Supplies stockpiled. Defenses prepared. How many? Great Jon asked. Started with 2,000, Benjen said. Lost 400 on the retreat. We've got 1,600 effectives. And the enemy? Tens of thousands. Maybe more. Jon killed 2 White Walkers, destroyed thousands of whites, but they keep coming. Keep raising more dead. It's endless. Great Jon looked at Jon. Can we win? We have to. There's no alternative. The Battle of Last Hearth. The dead arrived at sunset. Last Hearth was a strong fortress. Stone walls, deep moat, defensible position. But it wasn't designed for this, wasn't built to withstand an army that didn't tire, didn't retreat, didn't fear death. The whites attacked immediately. No siege, no preparation, just assault. They filled the moat, used their own bodies as bridges, climbed over the corpses of the fallen, reached the walls. Defenders poured oil, fire, dragonglass arrows. The whites burned, shattered, fell, but more came, always more. We can't hold, Great Jon shouted. There's too many. We hold until we can't. Jon shouted back. Then we fall back. Keep them bleeding. Fire lit the darkness. The screams of dying men mixed with the silence of the dead. Jon fought on the walls, Longclaw never stopping, Ghost beside him, killing, surviving. He saw small Jon Umber fall, the great Jon's son, pulled off the wall by whites, torn apart, then rising, blue eyes, turning on his own men. Jon destroyed him, Longclaw through the skull. But the image stayed, would always stay. By dawn the outer wall was lost. The defenders retreated to the inner keep. Fewer than 1,000 men now, exhausted, wounded, running out of dragonglass arrows. We can't hold another night, Benjen said. His face was gray, blood on his armor. We need to retreat to Winterfell. Agreed. But we do it organized, not a rout. We save everyone we can. The retreat began at midday. The defenders fled south. Last hearth burned behind them, denied to the enemy, but the dead followed, relentless, never tiring. The running battle continued. Every mile south was purchased with blood. Men died fighting rearguard actions, buying time for others to escape. By the time they reached Winterfell, 600 remained, 600 survivors out of 2,000 who'd started at the wall. Jon stumbled through Winterfell's gates, Ghost limping beside him, both of them covered in blood and ash. Father was there, took one look at Jon and pulled him into an embrace. "You're alive," Father said, voice rough. "Barely, Father. The wall's fallen. Last hearth's fallen. Everyone who was north is dead or here. This is it. This is where we make our stand. Then we'll be ready." The Battle of Winterfell, revised. The preparations took 2 days. Winterfell had never seen such organization. Every lesson Jon had learned, every mistake from the original timeline, implemented now. Multiple fire trenches, layered defenses, artillery positioned behind walls where they couldn't be overrun, infantry with dragonglass weapons in defensive positions, no suicidal cavalry charges, no exposing forces unnecessarily, and crypts. Jon stood in the crypts staring at the stone coffins, hundreds of dead Starks, buried for generations. "We burn them," Jon said. "What?" Father looked horrified. "Jon, these are our ancestors. Who will rise as whites if we don't? The Night King raises any dead nearby. Every corpse in these crypts is a weapon waiting to turn against us. We burn them now. All of them. That's sacrilege. It's survival. Father, please. Trust me, I've seen this go wrong. The crypts can't be safe. We burn the dead or we fight them later." Father was quiet. Long moment. Finally nodded. "Do it." They burned the crypts. Everybody, every coffin, the ancient Stark kings. The recent dead. All of them turned to ash. Catelyn wept, called it desecration, but she didn't stop it. The dead arrived on the 3rd day. The army had grown. Jon estimated 60,000 whites, maybe more. Every person who'd died north of Winterfell had joined them. And the White Walkers. 10 of them now. Jon had killed 2 at the wall. They rode at the front, ice armor gleaming, the Night King in the center. The Stark forces numbered 8,000, northern lords and their men, wildling warriors, Night's Watch survivors, everyone who could hold a weapon. Outnumbered 7-1. The battle began at dusk. The whites charged, silent, overwhelming. A tsunami of dead flesh. The fire trenches ignited. Flames 20 feet high. The whites ran into them, burned, fell. But others jumped the trenches, kept coming. "Archers!" Jon commanded. "Volley fire! Dragonglass only." 2,000 arrows flew. Obsidian tips, the whites in the front ranks shattered, collapsed. But more came. Always more. The artillery fired. Catapults launching oil-filled barrels. They exploded among the whites. Fire spreading. Hundreds burning. Still not enough. The whites reached the outer walls, started climbing. "Hold the walls," Robb commanded. He was in full armor, sword drawn, leading the defense. "Don't let them over." Spears with dragonglass tips, swords, axes, fire, everything they had. Jon positioned himself near the Godswood, where Bran waited, protected by 20 fighters, all with Valyrian steel or dragonglass weapons, because the Night King would come, would want to kill Bran personally. That was his pattern, his arrogance. The battle raged, hours passing. The outer wall fell. The defenders retreated to the inner wall, fighting every step. Thousands died. Northern men, wildlings, friends, family. Jon saw Lyanna Mormont, barely 12 years old but armed with a dragonglass spear. Fighting a giant wight, she drove the spear through its eye. It fell, crushed her. He saw small Jon Umber, risen again after last hearth, finally destroyed by his own father. Great Jon crying as he burned the body. He saw rangers he'd trained, wildlings he'd negotiated with, all dying, all becoming wights if their bodies weren't burned fast enough. The inner wall held, barely. The defenders were exhausted, out of arrows, running low on oil. Then the temperature dropped. Jon felt it, unnatural cold. The air crystallizing. The White Walkers were coming. They walked through their own army, whites parting for them. 10 White Walkers, moving toward Winterfell's heart. Toward the Godswood. Here they come, Jon shouted. Hold positions. The first walker reached the Godswood entrance, met by 4 defenders. All died, shattered by ice blades. But they wounded it. Jon and 3 others, all with Valyrian steel, engaged it. The fight was brutal, fast. 1 defender fell, then another. Jon drove Longclaw through the walker's neck. It shattered, screamed. Thousands of whites across the battlefield collapsed. 9 walkers left, but the Night King wasn't with them. Where? Jon saw him. On the walls, moving alone, heading toward the Godswood from above. Bran, Jon ran. He's coming for you. The Night King dropped into the Godswood, walked toward Bran. Slowly, confidently. Nothing could stop him. Bran sat in his wheelchair, staring, not afraid, just waiting. The Night King reached for him. Jon threw himself forward, Longclaw raised. No, the blade stuck, frozen. The Night King smiled. Jon pulled. The blade wouldn't move, trapped. Ghost attacked, leaped at the Night King. The creature backhanded the direwolf. Ghost flew 20 feet, didn't move after landing. Jon. Arya's voice. She appeared from nowhere, from the shadows, moving like water, like death itself. The cat's paw dagger in her hand, Valyrian steel. The Night King saw her, reached out, caught her throat, lifted her. Arya dropped the dagger, caught it with her other hand, drove it upward, into the Night King's chest, exactly where the dragonglass had created him 8,000 years ago. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the Night King's eyes widened. His grip loosened. Arya fell. The Night King looked down at the blade in his chest, touched it, tried to pull it out. Cracks appeared, spreading from the wound. Ice fracturing, breaking. The Night King shattered, exploded into 1,000 frozen shards. Across the battlefield, every White Walker collapsed, destroyed simultaneously. Every white fell, 60,000 corpses dropping like puppets with cut strings. Silence, complete silence. Then someone screamed, joy, relief, victory. The defenders realized what had happened. The enemy was gone. Destroyed. They'd won. Jon fell to his knees, exhausted, wounded, but alive. Arya stood over the Night King's remains, the cat's paw dagger still in her hand. She was 12 years old, and she'd just saved the world. How? Jon started. Syrio taught me how to move, silent, how to be quick, how to kill. Arya's voice was steady, and you told me. So I did it again. Jon pulled her into a hug. You did. You saved us. All of us. Father arrived. Robb behind him. They stared at the destruction, at the fallen whites, at Arya standing over the Night King's shattered remains. It's over? Father asked, disbelieving. It's over. Jon confirmed. The White Walkers are destroyed. The whites are gone. The long night is ended. The count took 3 days. 4,000 northern soldiers survived. Out of 8,000, 50% casualties. 3,000, 7,000 dead, burned in mass pyres outside Winterfell, cremated to ensure they wouldn't rise. Among the dead, Great Jon Umber died fighting the giant that killed Lyanna Mormont. Roderick Cassel fell defending the outer wall. Jory Castle, killed by a White Walker. Lyanna Mormont, crushed by the giant she killed. Dozens of rangers, hundreds of wildlings, thousands of northern men whose names Jon would never know. But the Starks survived. Ned, Catelyn, Robb, Sansa, Arya, Bran, Rickon, all alive, all safe. Jon had saved them. at tremendous cost, but he'd saved them. 2 weeks later, Jon stood in Winterfell's Godswood. Ghost had survived, recovered from his wounds. The direwolf sat beside Jon, both of them watching snow fall. He'd died and come back, changed time, saved the world. The cost had been high. 7,000 dead, a shattered wall, a traumatized North. But the pack survived, and in the end, that's all that mattered. The North remembers. Let us know what you'd like to see next in the comment section below. The end.